making sure you don't leave the little ones alone. Like if you have to walk away from the changing table to go and get something, don't leave the child on the changing table. Yeah.
Awesome. Lovely. And so like around in the kitchen as well, sort of with ovens and things like that, very hot things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you're saying with burns, is there anything we can do to help sort of keep our little ones safe around there?
Always keep looking when you're cooking. Our friend from Fens always tells us that. But the big thing with when you're working around the stove is making sure that the pots and pans aren't reachable, are pushed in so that the kids can't grab them or accidentally get knocked over. And if you're having a cuddle with the little ones, make sure you're not drinking a hot cup of coffee at the same time. Little things like that can just be that little extra protection, prevention that can help us out.
Cool. Awesome. Lovely. And when the worst does happen, unfortunately, as it does, we are all human, accidents happen. What's the best thing for whānau and caregivers to do at that very first instance when things go wrong?
Well, on our first aid courses, we teach a little acronym called Doctors ABCD. So DRS ABCD. And the first thing is dangers. That means you're looking after yourself. That means you're looking after those around you and the person who's injured.
Yeah.
So that might mean making sure that the stove is off before you go and help somebody. That might mean getting the dog outside before the dog gets excited over the kid crying who's really upset that they hurt. And making sure that you're safe as well, because you're no good to anybody if you're injured too.
Yeah.
And then of course as you approach the patient, you're looking for what's wrong with them. Are they responsive? Do you need extra help? And as things get more serious, if we've got an unresponsive patient, someone who we cannot wake up, we need an ambulance. 111 for an ambulance, and then you're making sure that they're breathing. Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Lovely. And sort of, if things aren't as serious as that, if we're not needing to kind of go to that ambulance stage, what's some really good kind of basic first aid that everyone should kind of have in their tool belt if they need?
Yep, okay. So those bumps, scratches, scrapes that we talked about before, obviously bumps, kids love the ice packs, don't they? So you get the little fun ice pack that looks kind of cool, it's out of the freezer, wrap it up in a little damp tea towel or a damp cloth and put it on the bruise or the bump. Cuts and scratches should always be cleaned really thoroughly, and that also includes making sure that you're not touching them with dirty hands. So wash your hands or wear gloves, and then you want to clean the wound out. So you might have something like saline, or you might have in your first aid kit any type of thing like these little antiseptic wipes. Really, really important that if you're using these, you make sure they're not expired. So, in terms of that, the best thing you always have access to is water. Water is a great cleaning agent. Look for stuff that's embedded in the greys. Once it's cleaned, cover it up with a non-stick dressing.
Cool, lovely. And if they've only got water around, is kind of basic soap okay to use?
Absolutely.
Is that all good?
Yep.
Cool.
No, clean, as long as it's clean, soap and water does an excellent job of cleaning. Any deeper cuts, like a puncture wound, if they've stood on a nail or something like that, that's really important that they get in touch with either Healthline, their PlunketLine or doctor to talk about whether they need a tetanus injection.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Lovely, lovely. Awesome. And if they're feeling, those after effects, if they've had a bit of a bump on their head, they're feeling a little bit sore, is paracetamol, can we give paracetamol to our little ones? How do we go about that?
So usually Pamo is recommended for the littlies, and it's about making sure you follow the instructions on the packet. If you're unsure, PlunketLine to talk to those awesome nurses, or a Healthline if that's your easier go-to. Either of those, you're talking to a nurse, they'll give you good, clear advice on what to do.
Awesome. Thank you for the PlunketLine plug as well.
No
Always
worries.
Appreciate it. Excellent. And what if as you say, we've got a little one that's unresponsive, we're needing to do some CPR. Obviously with a little person, it can be quite scary doing that, quite intimidating. How do we make sure we do that safely with our little ones?
So if we go back to our little plan, now if you come along to a first aid course, obviously we will teach you how to do this really, really well. We first aid courses can be booked online through stjohn.org.nz, or in the meantime you can download an app. So the app here, St John AED and CPR app, tells you a little bit about adult, child and infant CPR, and it takes you through the steps. So there's our doctor's ABCD. Dangers, make sure it's safe. Response. So to check for a response in our baby, we are going to pick them up, Now normally when babies respond, they'll move around, they'll cry, etc. Good indication that this baby's not responsive straight away is that they're limp and floppy. They're not making any noise and they don't respond to that touch. So we might give them a little bit more of a squeeze on the feet to see if they respond a bit further. Come on baby, wake up for me, wake up. Baby's now classified as unresponsive because he's not responding to anything. So we want to get somebody else to call 111 for us. 111 for an ambulance, we have an unresponsive baby. Make sure you know the address, that's really important for our call centre. Once an ambulance is on the way, we're going to check that they have a clear airway, so make sure there's nothing in their mouth. Make sure the airway is open. Now what that means is that it's not like this or all the way back like this. Babies have quite a weak airway, you can see it there from the straw.
Yeah. Quite a little narrow one there.
Tiny. It's demonstrated by the straw there. And if the straw is bent, it means that they can't breathe. So we keep that airway, that straw, nice and straight, and we check for breathing. So looking, listening and feeling for what we class as normal breathing. Now I'm sure there's plenty of parents out there that have sat and watched their beautiful baby sleeping because they're quiet and they're happy, and you can understand and you know what normal breathing looks like. So not breathing normally might be gasping, it might be noisy, it might be only in one direction. This is not normal and it means you need to start CPR. So get the baby to a firm flat surface. Just check that we can see baby in the camera, excellent. You're looking for middle of the chest, so cross here, nipple line, hard and fast. Keep pushing hard and fast until ambulance arrives. If you're able to, we're going to try and give 2 breaths to the baby. So at that point, 30 compressions. If you're able to do the breaths, reopen the airway. 2 little puffs, chest rises, back to 30. 2 little puffs, 30 to 2, no matter who. Keep doing that until the ambulance arrives. And 111 will also talk you through that as well. Keep pushing hard and fast.
Cool. Awesome. So that will give parents so much confidence. And as you say, for even more confidence, it's great to do that first aid course as well.
Yep.
Get that hands-on experience with an instructor too.
Yep, you get to have a go with the mannequins, learn what the CPR feels like, and some of our mannequins can even give you real-time feedback on your compressions, how well you're doing, how fast you need to go. So it becomes muscle memory.
Cool. Lovely. Excellent. It's fantastic having a baby that realistic. It is fabulous. That's little Bob, by the way.
Yeah.
I should have introduced our third presenter. I'm sorry. Sorry, little
Bob's
Bob.
not as heavy as a real baby though.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Much, much lighter.
Much lighter. All good. Lovely. And you say we've got the CPR thing we can do with courses. Sorry, we can do with St John. Are there any other courses that you guys offer? Do you offer people help with choking to sort of help out with that too?
So the basic course that you can do is our basic life support. So that's CPR and choking for all ages with a little bit about bleeding. Then you can do a full 1-day course, which is CPR, choking, medical and trauma conditions for all ages. But we also have a child first aid course available as well. It's just over half a day, and it concentrates on the conditions and injuries that are more susceptible to the young ones. Again, CPR and choking is always covered.
Cool. Lovely. And is there a way that you can demonstrate the sort of how to deal with choking on
Absolutely.
our little Bob as well?
Absolutely, I can do that.
Cool.
So, one thing to remember is that babies have a really good cough gag reflex. So when you're sitting there and they start going bleh, and all the food's just dribbling out of their mouth, that's their cough gag reflex working. If they are making noises, if they are trying to cough, then this is a good thing. It's called a partial airway obstruction, but just monitor them. Their gag reflex will hopefully dislodge the object. If, however, it turns to a full airway obstruction, or starts out as a full airway obstruction, you'll see the baby go a funny colour, generally blue around the lips. They go really floppy and they're quiet. They'll look distressed possibly, but a quiet baby, you know, it's bad. The blue, the floppy, these are indicators that your baby is choking. So, first of all, you want to hold them in a nice, once again, neutral position. So a good grip around the jaw. Get them across your lap or across a table, Good firm positioning, cross the shoulder blades, back blow, check, back blow, check, back blow, check, back blow, check. Was that 5? I lost count.
I lost count as well.
5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more.
What was 4? We'll do another one.
So always checking each time to see if the object has come out. If 5 back blows haven't worked, then we're going to try a chest thrust. Once again, on a firm surface, across your lap or on a table, and supporting their head. They've got a big, heavy head compared to the rest of us. Cross the shoulder, cross the armpit line, same as where we were before. Chest thrust, check. Chest thrust, check. 3, 4. I counted this time. 5. Hasn't come out. Revert back to the back blows. And every parent that I've talked to that's done this, if you start out light, you're soon hitting pretty hard. And it's okay to hit hard to get the object out. You're trying to save their life. It's a back blow and a chest thrust. Hopefully the object comes out. They still need to be checked out by somebody. With babies especially, the airway's quite soft and you can get secondary swelling from the object they were choking on. So always get them checked out. Whether you've called for an ambulance or whether that means ringing PlunketLine or Healthline or even heading off down to the doctor. Get them checked out.
Oh, lovely. And in these courses, they must do so much just to empower parents as well, to know what to do in these situations. It's not to scare anyone, but these things do happen.
Yep.
And it's so good to have that knowledge of know what to do.
Absolutely.
It makes us all just so much safer. Awesome, lovely. And
You sit there for another minute.
awesome. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for your help. Sterling job there. And so another thing I can see, just off camera, we've got some lovely kind of first aid kits here as well. What would be your kind of, we've talked about a little bit about the antiseptic wipes and ice packs. What are your kind of essential things for being in a household first aid kit?
Well, obviously for little ones, there's some things that may not always come in first aid kits. So you can put your own sort of stuff together and keep it together. But if we look at a basic thing like this, it's got your dressings in it. It's got wound dressings for so severe bleeding when you need to apply lots and lots of pressure and bandage it up. It's got some saline, some gloves. Remember I said put gloves on, and just your everyday plasters. Now kids of course need lots of plasters.
Yes.
They make everything better.
They do.
So lots of plasters for around the house, and just something for if it gets more serious. We can move up a little bit. This is a good one for the car. It's got more of the same in. So saline, dressings, bandages, triangular bandage. So one of those, but not as fancy. Yeah. And of course you can purchase any of these off our St. John website.
Oh, awesome. And again, it's all about being prepared and just having that stuff handy. If you need it, it's amazing. If you don't have it, it can be a scramble. So yeah, awesome, lovely. So yeah, as Margaret said, any courses that you guys want to do with St. John, just head on their website, have a look, find some stuff going on in your area, and other resources you can have, as we've said here, and as I always say, PlunketLine on 0800 933 922 is also always really great. If anything ever happens to your little one, always give us a call. We can always provide help and point you in the right direction. Our website, the Plunket website, also has lots of really good information about what to do in certain situations, same as kids' health. And again, if something does go wrong, if you do need that emergency help, call 111. It's what it's there for. I suppose you're never kind of hassling them, especially with a little one as well.
Oh, I know.
Always call
Look,
if needed.
we'd much rather show up to a baby or a child who's alive because the parents have had a bit of a moment, and it's absolutely understandable.
Yeah.
When you're a new parent, when your baby's not breathing very well, it can be quite scary. So don't hesitate to ring us for any sort of emergency. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, lovely. And I see we've got a question that's come in as well. It's a wee bit faint, so I'll do my best. So what would be
I think it's talking about choking for a 3-year-old.
It is indeed, yeah, back blow position for a 3-year-old. So what would you say?
So we'll have to get Bob to stand in for us because I forgot to bring my larger mannequin.
Just pretend he's a wee bit bigger.
Yeah. So if they're at the point where they're standing, you might be down sitting next to them, or with a 3-year-old, you probably could get a 3-year-old on your lap, right?
Yeah.
So back blows, again, just straight across the back of the shoulder blades, back blow, just like that. And this time the chest thrusts, you'd sort of give them a little bit of a bear hug. Your hand comes around like this, other one on top, so good positioning like that, and it's a chest thrust that way for anything over 1. So what we showed you before, under 1, anyone over 1, back blows in that position, chest thrust, this position. And important to understand too, for the partial and the full airway obstruction on a child or even an adult, if you can find out if they can cough, so if they've got good communication skills and they understand, are you choking, can you cough? If they can cough, it's a partial airway obstruction. Keep getting them to cough. Keep coughing, keep coughing, keep coughing. Hopefully that will dislodge the object. And of course if they're having breathing difficulties, just call 111.
Cool. Awesome, lovely. And remember guys, we do upload all of these videos as well onto our Facebook page and also onto YouTube, I believe, as well. Yeah, we do. I'm getting a thumbs up, thank you. So if there's anything you want to rewind and watch again, you can always go back and have a look. So
we can talk a little bit more about fractures and burns if you want.
Yeah, let's go for it. I was just about to ask if there's anything else you wanted to talk about. So yeah, go for it. Let's have a chat about that.
So broken bones. If you think you've broken a bone, you might have to go to hospital to get it x-rayed. But in the short term, the first aid side of things, it's about trying your very best to keep the limb or the child immobilised. If you have a fall, so they're more at risk of obviously fracturing or breaking a bone if following a fall or falling off their bike, that type of thing. Immobilise the injury as best you can. Now you can use pillows and blankets just to sit the arm in, or you can have a go at doing a sling. Obviously not as fancy as this is for the doctor.
Yes.
But the little triangular bandages that you get in your first aid kit. The kids actually respond to having something done, and it makes them feel that little bit better. Again, an ice pack can help with pain. And if they obviously are having ongoing issues, then it needs to get an x-ray so that a doctor can determine whether it's a bad sprain or a fracture. Yeah. Head injuries, it's important to understand what the child's normal is. Now, as parents, you would absolutely understand normal and how they normally react to things, but we always recommend that head injuries get seen by a doctor. And again, if you need advice, like it's outside of normal doctor's hours, ring PlunketLine, ring Healthline, and they'll be able to tell you what to look for while you wait to see a doctor, or whether it's important enough to go to after hours. Burns, so this one's pulled coffee down off the table, ended up with a burn on their leg. We cool the burn, so cool running water for at least 20 minutes. May seem like a really long time, but cooling is the most important part of dealing with a burn, so running water. Now if you have the ability to make that cool and not cold, like one of those mixers on the tap, that's even better. The child will be able to tolerate it for that 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes is up, we would cover it either with cling film or a non-stick clean dressing. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, so we've got another question, did I see?
Yeah, so it was, again, sort of on the burns side of things, immediate action if a 1-year-old holds a hot object. So again, that running under cool water.
Yeah, 20 minutes at least. Cling film or Glad wrap is an excellent burn dressing. Yeah, and I'm sure a kid would find that kind of cool having a Glad wrap on.
Exactly, kind of shiny. Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
Superhero arm, kind of like Iron Man. I haven't watched that movie, so it may not be a good comparison.
Probably not. No,
probably not. Okay, cool.
But if you, I'll mention when to call an ambulance for a burn. So in particular, if the burn is larger than half the patient's arm, so that's actually not big on Bob. Anything larger than that on Bob, and it would be the accumulation of all the area that is burned. So if it's a little bit there and a little bit there, but it's bigger than that, we need an ambulance. Face, eyes especially, call an ambulance. And anything with a baby that's causing airway, breathing issues, always call an ambulance. Most other burns, it's either give Healthline or Plunket a call and see a doctor.
Cool. Yeah. Lovely. Awesome. So I I don't think we've got any other questions at the moment, but is there anything else you wanted to go through or any other key points you just wanted to get out to Whānau today?
I guess one other one, it's probably not as important at this time of the year with it being winter, but drowning is quite a significant issue within New Zealand, and kids can drown in just the smallest amount of water. So again, it comes back to prevention, making sure that kids are supervised around water, and especially at bath time. You may sort of get distracted by the phone ringing or someone knocking on the door. Never leave the baby in the bath unattended. Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to, if you have found them under the water, not breathing normally, start CPR.
Cool, lovely, awesome. And again, we can't say this enough, if you want to get prepared, always go for that first aid course. And then if that something does happen, that, you know, that terrible thing that happens to everyone sometimes, or you know what to do and you're prepared. So yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Margaret.
That's all right.
It's invaluable information. As I say, we do upload these, so if there's anything else that you guys want to revisit, do go back, have a watch. That's all good. If anything happens, or if you have any questions, always call PlunketLine. You can still call our nurses if something hasn't happened and you just want some advice. We're still there to have a chat 24 hours a day on 0800 933 922. Cool. So we have another Whānau Āwhina Plunket Facebook Live coming up in the next couple of weeks, so do keep an eye on our Facebook for information about that, and give us a call, as I say, if you need anything in between then. So again, thank you so much for coming in, Margaret. No worries, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yep.
And thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Ka kite, everyone. Take care.